Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Vukile and in high school or lifestyle related content.
Don't ever change for anybody. Don't ever trade your soul. Don't even listen to him. He don't know nothing at all. Try not to get too involved, but really it's breaking my heart. How you keep changing for him. Never forget who you are.
So today's video is a video that actually has been asked for. People have been asking me that on Instagram, which is about my spiritual journey. Definitely my African spiritual journey. So I'm doing that video now while eating. I'm having juice, toast, noodles with eggs. I like it. Try it. But anyway, that's my video today. But before I carry on, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share this video so you can grow the family. But anyway, another thing is, before I carry on, I'd like to put a disclaimer that this is what I went through, what happened to me. We differ in journeys, we differ in how it happened to someone else, and this is how it went. This is how it happened to me, personally me. And people who believe in Bulose, ancestors, do believe in God. All the people I know, and me personally, we do. I don't know, I hear some people that don't. So anyway, this is my disclaimer and I want to put it out there before I even carry on. So nobody can come for me. If you're gonna come for me, don't watch. Move on. If you feel like move on. You don't have to watch. Right? But yeah. That's my disclaimer before I carry on. So let's get into this. So let's start from the beginning of time, just beginning of me as a child. So me and my family never really thought of that I was spiritually gifted or anything, right? We never thought that at all. But I would have dreams about things, specific things, and all that. And I'd say sometimes when things like these happen, like, oh, I dreamt about this, but we're also not deja vu, right? We all know that. And we all said, you know what, it's deja vu, it happens to everyone, right? But then until I started like saying some specific things like this, and this, and they'd be like, they'd look into it and sometimes it would be true. So that's when my mom was like, okay, fine. So then after that, growing up, I knew I was a different child. I didn't know how and when and all that, right? So my mom used to call me, have a nickname for me. I think the black parents in my country have this. Black parents, we all have the. So my mom used to say, my mom nicknamed me Ukoko, translation Granny. She named me that, and it was just a nickname she just came out with out of the blue, right? It was a nickname she just threw up out of the blue. And then going on later, I found out my mom was spiritually gifted, but not in terms of deep within and all that. It was just in terms of, because she did have a ceremony done for her in her late teenage years because of that. But that's all they did for her, and then they moved on. So me and my brother coming into this world, it was something normal. My father and my parents were not married yet, yes. because they got married when I was 2 years old. Brother was 9. But like, nobody ever put much thought into it. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Nobody put thought into it. So that's okay. You might have a spirit. No, nobody said that until so if you do not know, my parents are divorced. They divorced when I was 15, and I haven't had contact with my father since last year. Wait, since I was still 15, beginning of the year, like I think it was the second or third, I needed a new school bag. He was just like, fine, he's gonna, but then my father never reached out to me ever again. Even when I tried to reach out to my father basically, he ended up, that's a story for another day. But before my parents separated, there was a lot of things that were going on at home back then. So then they would fight. And I remember this specific day. So we went to Insta at our whole house. Insta, and it was okay. We went there, but we went there with my father not being. And finally, we went there with my father not being in the right spirit. I think then my mom and my father had gotten into an argument like a few minutes earlier, and so then we go to Imsam with that. Okay, so we went there, and my father starts, in a way, bad mouthing my mom, talking. But you know when someone's talking, it's like when a person doesn't like you, right? Or they're against something you believe in or something like that. And when they do something, you can tell this is kind of directly to me, just not to my face, right? So was that situation. So my father goes there. He starts telling off my mom. There. I remember feeling, in a way, trapped in a place with these people that I did not know, and I did not see anything was happening where I was at home, right? So I remember that, and I remember us coming out from there. I remember telling my mom when we were done, listen, this is what happened to me. I was like, so kind of a vision thing or something. And she was like, mom was just like, okay, fine. So I told my mom that. And I remember blacking out for a while. I just as my mom and brother would say, I screamed. I screamed, and it was that. I never had that encounter again. I think I never had that after that. Like, we didn't call my father and all that. We didn't, because like we're just like, oh, whatever, right? It was not something big. And then later on, so I have a cousin who passed away 2019. I really was close with my cousin. I really loved my cousin. He passed away 2019. What I'm gonna say right now is gonna sound really crazy after this, but this specific night, I think was like a month after he passed away. It was, I think, like 2 or 3 weeks after he passed away, and I remember hearing a voice at night, it was dark. You know when you just think, oh, whatever, I wonder what's happening, right? I hear a voice, and I can't put this voice in place. Okay, this is whose voice, right? I said at that point, I'm feeling very crazy, I'm feeling very scared, but this voice is talking to me. So there's this saying that my brother used to say a lot my cousin, when you do something that's maybe like make fun of him, or just be like, remember, but I'm dark now and all that, yeah, which means, remember, I'm still older than you. So he used to say that. I remember telling my mom what happened, because he said that, right? And my mom's just like, oh, that sounds like your cousin and all that. I was just like, oh, okay. I was like, okay, that's weird. But I think 2 months later, I dreamt of the person, because he was murdered. I dreamt of the person that murdered my cousin, right? Didn't know them, didn't see them or anything, but I dreamt of them. I was in grade 8 when my cousin passed away, so I dreamt of these people, and I told my mom, right? I'm like, okay, that's weird, but maybe it's just a stupid dream because you still feel very attached to them. I was like, yeah, maybe. But then I think a month later, the people found it was the people I was dreaming about, and I didn't even tell anyone besides my mom. So that's when you like knew, okay, there could be something going on with me at this moment. But like, I told no one, honestly. I felt like people would be like, no, you're lying, all that, and I was just really scared of the outcome and the actions of people, so I didn't tell anyone. I didn't even tell my best friend at that time, because I had a different best friend. I didn't even tell my best friend of that time, and I was just like, you know what, you're going to take this to the grave. It's for you to know. And then fast forward grade 10. Yes, grade 10. Yes, grade 10. So grade 10, I was in a different school. I was at a boarding school, grade 10, right? I think it's the second video on my channel when I was collecting my reports at that school, right? So okay, fine. I meet this friend. So right, I meet my best friend on the first day and all that, but then I meet this friend later on, same class, but I only noticed her when I think it was in term 2. We started talking then, and she had a spiritual gift. She did, and she always like say weird remarks, right, that I wouldn't pay attention to. But like coming back to them now, like they'd be about me. Like she'd be like, "Those like, oh, I'm seeing that like you weighing me down," or what kind of gaggy, like when last did you go to your, because like she knew like my father and I were not talking, and she'd be like, when last did you go back home? When last did you go talk to your ancestors? And like she just, and I just be like, okay, that's weird, but like I was just like, maybe she's just really instilled in her journey, right? But this specific, so okay, specifically term 3 at the end of term, that was like a week. No, term 4, the first week back at school, right? Term 4, first week back at school. What happened? First week back at school. Okay, first week back at school, right? I'm sitting with this friend, and I'm like, I'm not feeling emotionally okay. I can tell her, I'm not doing emotionally okay. I feel like really crying and screaming. And then she's like, why don't you do it? That would be weird, dude. Why would I just do that in the class at school? And she'd be like, just do it. I was like, no, then at least cry. I was like, no. And see, if I were you, I was going to do it. And then I remember the next class was life science. So we went there because they're different. It was grade 10 and they put our NAs, they separated physics and life science so that you'd know what you were doing next year, right? Anyway, so then I remember, fine, life science, I came and I cried. Life science, I just started crying. Keep in mind, the weather was hot. I just started crying. The people next to me did not understand what was happening to me. I just cried. I didn't scream. I was that deep. I just like cried like a person who's just heartbroken. Like I cried. And the next period was after this was break. So I remember crying. And then after I stopped crying, it rained. It rained for a good 5 minutes. And she just said to me, this is how much power you have. I was like, what are you talking about? And then she just said that, and I think then she threw it out as riddles, right? Like she threw it out in riddle type of ways. Everything she said like was in a type of riddle. Like she wouldn't think about it on the spot, but like sooner things made sense. So anyway, got back to that. That Friday I came back home. I was emotionally not okay. I come back home, it's raining back home. And I'm just not okay. Mom's like, are you okay? She's cleaning, because I come back, she's cleaning, right? My mom keeps looking at me. She's like, are you okay? You don't look okay. I'm like, nah, I'm fine. And I fainted. And I screamed. Which is not really clear for me. I remember just waking up on the chairs, like laid out. I was lying on top of like 4 chairs, because I'm tall. 3 chairs. My mom's like, what the hell? My mom's like, you just fell, you just started screaming, and I didn't know what to do. My brother was still at school. Just started screaming and all that. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know what's happening. I tell her what happened during the day. I think 5 minutes or 10 minutes later of us talking, this happens again. Mom gets worried. She's like, okay, fine. This thing's getting bigger for me. And then, because when I scream, now I'm crying. She calls this friend, not her friend, but her friend's friend, who's a spiritual seer. Right? She's like, okay, listen, my daughter's going through this, I don't know what's happening. So this happens while my mom's still talking to this friend on the phone, right? She's like, okay, she listens. She's like, okay, I can't hear anything she's saying much. But I see something happening with her, right? Obviously, I mean. Anyway, it goes on. I think I do this for like 10 minutes because I couldn't stop. But my brother was here. My brother was just asleep. My brother was from work. So I'm like, okay, grade 10. Keep in mind, grade 10. Fine. Then so this happens after my mom drops the call, I think 3 times after. Then she's like, you know what? She calls and then she's like, okay, I'm going to come tomorrow, right? This woman comes over to my house tomorrow. And she's like, and when this happens again, she gets through to the person in me, I guess, if I can call it that. And it's like, okay, fine. And they say whatever they want to say, this person in me and this granny in me says what they say and all that. They introduce themselves, they say what they want and all that. Right? And that they've been living in me for the longest time now.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Fine. Like my mom is like, she wants a ceremony of all that. Like my mom's like, okay, fine, we'll do it after the trip. Because I was about to write, because I had a week left and then I was writing the week after. She's like, after when she's done writing. Fine. That happens, it's a Saturday, right? Saturday. No, I think it's a Friday. Okay, no, it happens, it's a Saturday, yes, Saturday. And fine. Sunday, Sunday, what happens is, fine, okay, we like, oh, that guy pack for school. I'm going back Monday, right? Monday morning, I'm going back to school. We pack for school, I get ready for school, sharp, and then I get to school. So I tell my patient about this. I'm like, this is my current patient. I tell her, listen, this is what happening. This is what happened to me, and this is how I feel. Oh, I'm sorry, it was in grade 9. I'm really sorry. It was in grade 9, all that, right? Grade 9. And like, this is what happened to me. This is what's been happening to me. I'm like, this is what happened to me. And she's like, okay, shit, that's wild. So I'm like, okay, fine. So first period, I sit with the spiritual friend of mine, right? I sit with her first period in English. I sit with her in most of my classes now because we became that close. So I will sit with her also in English, right? She's at the back. We're those back row children. But we don't talk much, right? We do listen at times. So my best friend is in the next door class, which is the Afrikaans class, and she's also doing Afrikaans, right? And so I tell this friend of mine, I'm like, listen, this is what happened. She's like, you lie. She's like, I've been trying to tell you that you have this gift, and like, I don't know how to tell you. I'm freaking you out because I didn't know if you believed in all these things. I'm like, I always believe. That's why I enjoyed sitting with you, because like, I felt I got to know more about my culture, right? She's like, okay, fine. I tell her, I don't know what happened, but I start feeling like this cold breeze in me. Like there's air coming through me or something. I just start shaking. People, guess what happens? I faint. School first period on a Monday, I faint. It's not even halfway through the period, I faint. And my best friend's next door, she hears me screaming. And she comes in and she's like, okay. She starts doing whatever. And apparently, so I don't remember what I told her, but I told her, do this name. Because my mom had told me to tell her to do that just in case it happens, name. And she does this thing. Eventually, I calm down. They're like, okay, child, go home. Because now, when this happened to me, I remember when I started shaking, she's like, don't do this. I remember saying, just don't do this. Stop doing this. Not now, not here, no. And then she's just like, when I started doing it, she left. She left me. She ran. She started screaming. But I was now here doing whatever was happening to me in this trance that I'm in. And it's like, okay, sharp. You are doing this weird. For what good reason? We all wonder. But you are currently doing this. So fine. Eventually her mother comes to school to fetch her child. My mom's like an hour, 45 minutes to an hour away. And she's just like, okay, fine, I'm gonna be there and all that. Now she has to drive. My mom drives eventually. And I get here, and she gets here. I think I'm gonna divide into different parts, by the way. And she gets here. She gets there, I'm fine. Me and my friend will sign up back to the hostel. We're fine. I'm fine. She gets here, I'm fine. Sharp. We go home. My best friend, they fetch her clothes. She's like, okay, fine, you're gonna sleep over and all that. You're gonna stay over for a while, because my mom's like, okay, I also have to go to work and all that. Fine. At that moment, fine, we fetch her things, we come back to my house, and that whole week was hell, to tell you that much. That whole week was hell. Monday, so I came back. Tuesday, my mom went to work. This thing happened again when my mom was at work. This thing became a regular thing, but like now I just like fainted and screamed, I think 6 to 7 times a day. So this thing was becoming a meal thing. And now my patient is to call my mom, because and all that. Eventually, my mom's just like, so they call this friend. They like, she won't stop. His friend's like, ask this friend what she wants. Talk to her. This person doesn't talk at this moment. She's not responding. All I'm doing is screaming. And she came, I think, 2 hours later with my mom again, this friend. And they first said the child doesn't remember anything he's saying or what happens. Don't make her black out. It makes her give her spots and empty spots in her brain. So fine. She's like, fine, I'll make her remember, like, all that. And then they're like, we told you we were going to do this thing after the child rides December and all that. He's like, no. If you're not doing anything for me, I'm not going to say wait for her to finish school. Matter of fact, you might as well stop school. Life changes. We think from that it's going to be fine. Wednesday happens, same thing. I'm like, you know what? Thursday she phoned my grandmother, her mother. Listen, we're coming there. She's in Durban, imagine. She's in Durban and I'm in Newcastle. Listen, we're coming. Tomorrow we're coming there. My best friend, they say she's coming with me. I don't really get along with my cousins at all. Because they forever like judging me, which I'll get to that why. I don't like them. We don't even talk now. Okay? So like she's like, fine. She's like, fine, we're coming and all that, we're coming. And we go. Thursday morning, we wake up, we go there. No, Friday. Friday in the evening, we go there. We go there Friday in the evening. We do Saturday, this ceremony is done. Everything is just done. From there, I never stopped hearing these people. And then beads come into my life. Red and white beads come into my life. Smaller than these. It's very smaller than these. It's almost close to this size, but a bit smaller. They come into my life. But you know what? There is going to be a part 2. Let's just say for the next episode, or let me just call it a series or whatever. For the next video, beads come into my life. I almost die. Beads come into my life. I almost die. Trusting the wrong people comes into mind, and I almost had no future at all. Part 2. Anyway, for today, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, turn your post notifications to get notified every time I post. Comment down below what you really want to see. And share your input on how the story just happened. Share like what you're thinking. Are you shocked? Or you can't wait for the next part? Tell me what's going on. Talk to me. Because I want to know what's going on in your mind. Because this is shocking. It's shocking. You know what's happening in your mind and how you're watching things right now. Like, just tell me what's up. And how you are reacting to this currently. But I promise you I'll give you a part 2, and I think most probably I'll also give you a part 3, because this is still in grade 9 and I still have grade 10 and 11, because I'm in grade 11 right now. So you still have those. But these are my favorite right now. But I'll take a picture of this video. But that's it. Anyway guys, I love you so much. I really do. Wait for the part 2.
Can you focus on me? Baby, can you focus?